Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 461 of DrunkNerds podcast. I'm your host, as always. I'm Tyler. Joining me with the man, the myth, the legend himself, Sir Colonel Gables.
My God. Before we even went through and started recording and stuff like that, Tyler and I have been watching Full Gear.
Mm-hmm.
God damn, that was a good show.
Yes, it was.
I didn't even had
Yes,
a
it was.
chance to watch the first two matches. I actually arrived late, had to take up a couple loose ends after work, but still, from all the matches I did see, I mean, there was some bangers on that one, man. It made me feel pretty fucking excited for more pro wrestling, which is a
Mm,
welcome addition to me.
yeah.
But yeah, I'm doing all right. Another work week, another crazy work week, another bunch of unruly people going through donating stuff and causing panic and shit. Just all this same old retail shit.
Yeah.
It's not just the cowboy shit; it's the retail shit.
The retail shit. Yep. Yep. A lot of shit. Just shit everywhere. Shit happens, as they say.
Yep, exactly the point.
I believe
But
Forrest Gump made that saying.
but I am glad to say where it's like I had a chance to finish a game this week. I
Mm,
know we'll get into that a bit later, but I've also had a chance to try a couple of new games this week, so that is also a good banger to lead off with.
nice.
So Tyler, how have you been doing?
Doing okay, you know. It's the week after Extra Life, so it's bittersweet. Like it's on one hand, I recovered, but on the other hand, I'm sad it's over. I'm really happy. I ended up taking. I was initially going to take that Monday off and just say the other vacation day, but glad I took it because I really needed that Tuesday. Tuesday was my day where I felt like I got right, and like got like did a bunch of shit around the house, got caught up on a bunch of shit on my laundry and cleaning and all that. I definitely need that day because we recorded last Sunday. We were miserable, and
Yeah,
Monday just felt like a turd still. And then it was like I woke up Tuesday morning and I was just like, I feel like semi alive again. So back to normal. So no, I'm doing pretty good though. Other than that, it's just another work week. I think we should just make it so that we just work 3 days a week every week from now on,
yeah,
and just
really.
have 4-day weekends should just be the standard.
Mm.
You don't have to give me holidays anymore. You don't have to give me vacation. Yes, paid holidays. That's fine. Just I don't need them. Just Christmas, Thanksgiving, New Year's. That's all I need.
There you go.
I don't even care. May 4th of July. I don't even care about that. Honestly, just give me those three. Good to go. 4-day weekends, and work 3 days a week. I'll even work 3 10s. I don't give a shit. 3 12s. I'll fucking work it. Just give me those, please. Um, yeah, no, other than that, I'm doing all right, but it's daylight savings times fucked me all up. So that sucks. Getting a lot more sleep though, which is nice, but
Yeah, really.
just tired of being tired. And it's like, oh fuck, it's only like 6 o'clock. It's like I'm ready for bed. It's only like 6 o'clock. Like what the fuck. But anyways, I'm just kind of rambling now. Yeah, no, so we just watched the AEW Full Gear. AEW is a wrestling promotion that's just been kicking all kinds of ass since it came around about 2 years ago, um, and it's basically pretty much the most watched wrestling company now.
Yep.
Um, and yeah, now it's like must see television for me. It's my ritual every Wednesday to watch them, and then I usually watch the Friday night show. I usually watch Saturday morning. So that's kind of like my Saturday morning cartoon is watching the Friday show Rampage, and then every 3 months we get a awesome pay per view, and this one did not disappoint. Gables and I both watched it together. It was fan fucking tastic. We got
Hmm.
to see some cowboy shit. We got to watch some a couple people. We saw a bunch of people just beat the shit out of each other.
Yeah.
So that was yeah. It was from first match. There was 9 matches. None of them disappointed. They're all fan fucking tastic. It was a good 4 hour show. So we're starting a little later than usual. So that's the only downside. But I'm totally fine with that because that was a fantastic show. If it would have been a bad show, then been a little different. But that was an awesome show. But anyways, this is not why you're here. This is not why we're here. We are here to talk about video games, guys, and we're gonna jump into that right now. Another kind of a light week, Gables. Not a lot going
Yes.
on in the world of gaming, But I feel like we might hear some shit. We might see some shit. We're just gonna start saying shit a lot more, I think, now because of some cowboy shit going on in celebration of Hangman Adam Page finally winning the AEW World Title.
Mm-hmm.
But Gables, like I was saying, I think we're gonna hear some more shit as we go on because of Game Awards. It's kind of we got we're getting closer, but we're getting closer to we get those like kind of E3 rumors and shit. You don't know what to believe.
Mm.
Man, I really feel like I'm just saying shit a lot now. It just feels like that episode of South Park when they're allowed to say shit for the first time and they start saying shit constantly. Uh, I'm just gonna call the title of this episode shit. Um, but anyways, this is one rumor that is not actually Game Awards intertwined here. This kind of something popped up, and we've had a few like kind of prominent leakers in the world of Xbox kind of corroborate with it, maybe give it a little more, not totally like say it's gonna happen, but kind of like hint that it's happening and give a little more credence to possibly this thing is happening. So the Xbox did announce that about a month ago that on Monday the 15th, which is the 20th anniversary of the original Xbox and the 20th anniversary of Halo, that they are they're going to have a little event kind of celebrating the history of Xbox, show off some stuff, but they weren't going to show off anything. They said no new releases, like kind of kept kind of keep everything in check as far as expectations. Don't expect like fucking Fallout 6 at this or 5. I don't even know what Fallout they're on at this point. Um, but kind of keep expectations in check. And then just kind of out of the blue, like Thursday afternoon, evening, and Friday, really kind of took off with it, where people are starting to say that we might be getting the Halo Infinite multiplayer
Hmm.
on Monday to
Mm.
celebrate the 20th anniversary of Xbox.
Interesting.
So, like I said, multiple Windows Central is really prominent. There's another one I can't remember his name, but he's like leaked Halo maps before they they've been announced. He's leaked other things too. From what this is not my bag. Just kind of reading around, kind of figuring out what's going on here. But a lot of prominent leakers in the Xbox world are coming out. Nate the Hate, saying kind of corroborating some of this. So I don't know, Gables. I mean, what's your expectations of them possibly releasing the multiplayer a few weeks early?
To be perfectly honest with you, yeah, it's possible. They're celebrating a major milestone, Microsoft is, in regards to the Xbox brand, but at the same point, I wouldn't give too much of the hopes up in regards to seeing it maybe like a couple of weeks early in that regards. But at the same point, we're not even sure what exactly they're going to go through and announce at this anniversary style event. So I'm keeping
Yeah,
my expectations really at a low point right at this moment in time because I don't want to get so excited to where it's like it's going to be disappointed about it. But at the same time, I'm going into the event where it's like I don't know, just go ahead and just announce whatever shit that you got.
yeah. I'm not expecting too many announcements. I think it's just kind of a look back more so, and then maybe some like updates is what they kind of initially said, and then this kind of blew up. I I think there will be some sort of release of a Halo multiplayer
Oh, okay.
on Monday, whether it's a beta or maybe it's like a soft launch kind of thing. I heard someone say, "What if they put it behind Game Pass?"
Hmm.
Which I thought that's kind of a smart idea business wise, but I heard other people saying, "Well, that's just a quick way to piss a lot of people off." Which yeah, because it is free to play, but I'm like also it's coming out 3 weeks early, so like
Hey,
right
why
you could
not?
play you could play Battlefield 2042 early if you get EA Play or the best deal in gaming, Game Pass. Um, so I did actually play a couple of matches of Battlefield 2042 today. Not bad. But that's I'm not really gonna. That's my review. But yeah, I don't know. I think I could definitely see something. Whether it's that one of the Halo flights they've been doing. I got in one of the last ones, which was kind of cool. But it was like the big team battle, and I just got my ass whooped. It was not going great, Gables, for me
Mm.
at all whatsoever. I just all sides, just all fucking sides, just the the entire elite giving me BTE triggers is what it was. Just surrounded.
Just spike BT
Um,
triggers.
yeah, just that's another AEW reference for people. Um, fucking anyways, just putting tacks in my mouth and fucking giving knees to the face. Anyways, but yeah, I think it'd be really cool. I think they always wanted to release it on this date to kind of or do something big on this date. We do have the new headset and the controller coming
Oh,
on Monday for the 20th anniversary, but I think they always wanted to do something big for that day. And maybe this is it. Like whether it's a beta or a soft launch or even hiding behind Game Pass. I mean, I can understand when people get upset about it to a certain extent, but I'm like, it's 3 weeks early. I don't know. I mean, maybe they just say, hey, play it here, and then we're gonna wipe everything on December 7th, and then you guys start over on the 8th. I don't know. Um, I don't think it's gonna be necessarily the 1.0, but I think there's a very good chance. I'm believing the hype of something is gonna happen. Or maybe it's just like here's a handful of maps. It's not the full thing. Here's some maps, a couple maps, and some of the uh, different types of matches you can play, but it's not the full thing. So I don't know. I'm excited for people. We are not the Halo guys. I know you. I mean, you beat the entire Halo series last year. Uh, I've been like midway through Halo 5 for about 2 months now because I just don't like that game. But I'm excited for this because I enjoyed 4, 3, and 1 when I
Mm.
played them. But yeah, I don't know. I'm pumped. I was already excited for this. But now I'm like a little more because it's just like I like exciting things, and this sounds exciting for a lot of people. Um, Moving on, Gables, to our next story here. The GTA collection, anthology, legacy, trilogy, remaster of 3 Vice City and San Andreas came out on the 11th to I think it was
Hmm.
like the 20th anniversary or 19th. It was an anniversary of I think 3. So that's why it came out on Thursday. So they announced this about a month ago, and when they announced it, they said here in a couple weeks we're gonna pull the originals all down from every store, so they're
Yeah.
all on Steam, PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo. Maybe I don't know if they're on Nintendo, but they pulled all those ones down a couple weeks ago. They gave everybody a couple weeks notice, um, but then they um, announced that the GTA trilogy collection, whatever that's so wordy, will only be available to buy for PC on the Rockstar launcher. Um, and they like I said they pulled down from Epic and Steam and everywhere else. Well, come to find out, Gables, it is completely, absolutely broken on the PC to the point that they actually just so they pulled it from the store. But the problem is not only do they pull it from the store, they basically just shut down the entire Rockstar launcher. So people that bought this game on PC, you are not able to even play the game at all right now. And not
Mm.
only are you not able to play these games right now, you're not able to play GTA 5 online or Red Dead Redemption 2 online. So they pulled everything down, and I get like they kind of went silent on Twitter about it. They pulled it, but then like they went silent for a while and they kind of gave an update. So it sounds like there's a lot of development notes that were in there, and like unlicensed music was in there, and I guess it was extremely like broken and buggy, like the rain effects were just weird. There's some I meant to show you before we started recording. There's some a couple of people posted some videos online, just the crazy shit that's going on in this game. Like I don't want to call it cyberpunk broken, but um, I guess the equivalent for a remaster of broken. Um, but yeah, I don't. It's so fucking wild. Like everything else seems to be working. I heard the Switch one is not great though either, but it's playable. It's just not doesn't run very well.
Right.
It's very weird. A lot of people are excited to buy it on Switch, and I'm like, why? It's like I'm not even trying to
It's
be
the
a dick
Switch
towards.
effect, dude. I mean, that's just basically
I
what
get
a lot of major people that use their Switch and stuff are just happy to have it on the mobile on the go for that console sort of experience on the go. But
yeah.
yeah, I understand your sentiment, man, because it's like I have my consoles and stuff at home. I can easily play it on the PS5 or an Xbox or whatever the hell, or even PC if I chose to, but I'm not going to because of this shit going on.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's bad. It's kind of like the what was that Warcraft was that Warcraft 3 that
Warcraft
Blizzard
3?
did?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it's that level of like bad and but like a broken version as well on top. It's like it's just it's nuts. Like they talked about I guess like the team they had work on this Rockstar did is the people that are doing the mobile ports of these games. And I don't know. I don't want to dunk on these people cuz I feel bad because it's like it doesn't sound like it's their fault. It sounds like they just maybe they weren't equipped. Maybe they're just not the team they're not equipped to handle this. They didn't have enough time because this thing was supposed to come out in October and they delayed it. It wasn't officially announced until October, but it was initially supposed to come out in early October. Because I mean there was this thing leaked everywhere. It was on every ratings board,
Yep.
everything like that, and it was very weird because people were talking the day before it came out. People were like, "We've had no gameplay trailers anything for this game. We've seen nothing for this game other than like we've seen some the cutscenes of the game, but we haven't seen any actual gameplay. And it's like, well, how worried should you be? They're remasters of games from 3 generations ago, and
Hmm.
here we are. And it's I don't know. I mean, Gables, what's your thoughts on all this?
It's extremely disappointing. This is a major this is a major company, Rockstar, remaking some of their most famous games in their franchise inside of their company's history. Not to have it remastered into the extent, into the standard that they normally go through and release their games, that's criminal. And quite honestly, it's absolute bullshit that they release the games in that sort of state. I
Mm,
understand they're still working on it. That company's still working on it, trying to get things all ironed out and stuff. But taking on the Rockstar launcher where it affects other games like GTA 5 and Red Dead Redemption 2, that is absolutely stupid. Because it's like, if they would have had all their eggs in the basket, I know COVID and stuff plays a role in this as well. But this
mm,
is a major company. They knew exactly what they had. They released it anyway. And honestly, it was a lot worse than anticipated. So this is another aspect of disappointing launch. Probably going to see it maybe 6 months down the line or something where it's like, oh, okay, maybe it's in a playable state. Well, I'm hoping it's sooner than that because the people
yeah,
that paid their hard earned money to play that game on PC deserve to have a workable fucking port, especially when they go through the extra mile of taking away the original games on the service, on Steam, on the Epic Game Store, on wherever they bought it digitally on PC. And you're right, man. It's like a Warcraft 3 situation because that's what Activision Blizzard did. They took away the game that gamers were enjoying for years and instead put together a fucking crap remake and stuff that's going to go through and like undermine everything that was good about the original. For
yeah,
GTA 3 just sounds like a bunch of miscellaneous this miscellaneous hodgepodge of shit that just added into some form of like a colossal misfire in regards to its launch, in regards to its durability, in terms of like stability. Obviously, I mean, come on, the game has to run in order for people to enjoy that damn thing. But
yeah, yeah,
we need to have it to at least run comparably to like the fucking PS2 and Xbox standard, at least. For God's sake, you're built
yeah.
multi-billion-dollar company. Get your shit on straight.
Someone had a really great tweet that said, "I can't believe GTA 5 runs better on the PS3 than GTA 3 runs on the PS5." And it's like, God damn, what a burn! And that,
Yes, that's an amazing response to that, man. That is actually pretty good.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's just, I think it's just like go like I mentioned this when we were talking about the Vita and the PSP and everything getting
Mm,
shut down. People were upset about that, and I'm like, my point was like,
yes.
we've had years to buy these games, and it's like they're giving you at that point 6 months notice to buy these games. Um, if you really wanted those things, you would have bought them then. And that was kind of my when they announced it, like I thought it was kind of like it's kind of shitty they were giving like a week or two notice that they're
Mm,
getting rid of these, but also it was kind of the same rule kind of applied a little bit to where I'm like, well, if you really want them, you would have bought them a long time ago.
sure.
Like the difference, obviously, the big difference between getting 6 months notice to, or like Nintendo gives a year plus notices when they're shutting down a store, to a couple weeks notice, and then not only are you taking these away, but then you're giving us subpar versions of these. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, I don't. I mean, it's kind of a like I'm not a GTA. I didn't really enjoy these games back. I played them a lot back in the day, but it was just like more so because we were just playing with a group of friends. You go back and forth, rack up as many stars as you can, just fuck around, But never been a big fan of them, so for me, it's like I'm not super upset about it. But yeah, it's just kind of I'm bummed out for the people because a lot of people were like super excited for this, and it's just like I've still seen people that are pretty having a good time, and they're still uh, excited for these and saying some decent things about them on at least the PS5 and the Xbox. And San Andreas is on Game Pass.
Yeah,
Best
that's
known
true.
game in Gables. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's just kind of a bummer. I hope, like you said, 6 months. It's got to be sooner than that because and what really sucks is like they're costing themselves hundreds of thousands of dollars a day,
Mm-hmm.
not making any of that money, not selling shark cards for GTA 5 online, and then whatever I don't know what Red Dead Redemption 2 does online, but yeah, it's like they need to get that shit going here soon. Like I mean, it sucks. Like on just it releases Thursday, Friday they shut the thing down, and it's like people just bought these brand new games for the week, like going into the weekend. And not only did you take away the brand new games, they can't even play the old games that they probably enjoyed playing. So
Yep.
yeah, I don't know. Hopefully, like I said, hopefully they get that fixed soon. But Gables, moving on to soon, my favorite topic of the fucking week, Gables, or the week, the month, NPDs.
Mm.
So video games still doing super duper well here. Once again, hardware saw the biggest pop with an 82% leap compared to this same period in 2020.
Mm.
Um, what's incredible, software was up 11%. So obviously, majority of the sales were just people buying. Hardware was up 82%, software was up 11%. So people, even with the pandemic and COVID, better, obviously way better than what it was this time last year. Um, People were still buying games at a high rate, and also obviously have new consoles out there. Um, so some cool stuff out of this. Going through the top 20 here. Number 20, Breath of the Wild. Number 19, Mortal Kombat 2. What? Mortal Kombat 2? Oh, 11.
It's
I
11.
don't know why. Yeah, I don't know why. I thought that was a 2. Sorry. I'm like, why is 2 on here? What happened? Did I miss something? 18, Diablo 2. 17, Miles Morales. 16, Minecraft. 15, Animal Crossing New Horizon. 14, Smash Bros. Ultimate. 13, Ghost of Tsushima. 12, Black Ops Cold War. 11, Mario Kart 8. Mario Kart 8 staying pat at 11. Number 10, NBA 2K22. Number 9, NHL 22. Number 8, Mario Party Superstars. That's a new one that just came out last month. Number 7, Guardians of the Galaxy. Number 5, oh, fucking Christ. Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yabi the Hino Kami Chronicles. Did I nail that? I feel like I nailed that.
Dude, that's like handing off to fucking. It's like Aaron Rodgers handing off to the fucking halfback. What was it like? Who? Aaron Jones or something like that. Him just fumbling
Yeah.
over his feet.
It's like
But
I feel like
the
Aaron Rodgers was like when someone's trying to give him a COVID shot.
oh god. Anyway, but yeah, Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yaiba, the Hinokami Chronicles. That's
Yeah,
how I feel like it
that's exactly what I
sounds.
said. That's exactly what I feel like I said that exact same thing.
It almost sounds like you were saying yeah. There's like Kimosabi.
Same thing. Same thing to me. Oh,
uh,
fucking Christ. God damn. Why can't we just. Never mind. Number 4, Madden NFL 22. Number 3, Metroid Dread.
mm,
Number 2, Back for Blood. Number 1, Far Cry 6.
mm,
So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 new games in the top 9 here. Um, I think some of the incredible stuff here is something I thought was kind of interesting here. Skyward Sword, not in the top 20.
yeah,
Breath
that's
of the
very
Wild
true.
still is. So, kind of interesting. We were just talking about that last week about how with the NPD with the Nintendo sales updates where they said that it's already outsold the Skyward Sword or the on the Wii. So I don't know. I thought that'd keep going for a little while.
Hmm.
But yeah, Far Cry 6 still selling well. I believe they said though it is behind 5 on that, but I feel like that's kind of the well, even though I think overall uh, thoughts about 6 is it's better. People like it better, but it's like the complaint is more Far Cry. But we always kind of hear about when games the one that pays the price for the bad game is the next game.
Yep.
And I feel like that's the case here. It's like we're like the ultimate comparison is Assassin's Creed Unity was at that point the best selling Assassin's Creed of all time because it followed up 4, but then the one after that I can't remember. It was one with
Syndicate.
EV Syndicate. Thank you. Yeah, I don't know how you know that, and I don't. But it was one of the worst selling ever, even though it was far superior than Unity. But Unity was obviously broken and buggy, and just overall not a very good game. So I think that's kind of the case here with 6. Back for Blood would be number 2, despite being day and date on Game Pass. But we've seen this happen with uh, Outriders earlier this year, where it was
Yep.
day and date on Game Pass and was number 3 that month, and then MLB The Show was, I believe, in the top 5 the
Oh
month
yeah.
it was day and date. So we have a history of this now with games that are cross console and PC could still do well despite being on Game Pass, or maybe because of Game Pass. I don't know. But yeah, Gables. I think it's kind of interesting here. So Metroid Dread, number 3. Oddly enough, we got some sales number here. In the United States in the first month, not including um, anything in the environment. This is just for the month of October. In the United States only, physical and digital sales, 864,000 copies.
Hmm.
We do know that in Japan they did about 120,000 copies physically only. So that would say in that launch month they did over, and that we don't even know Europe or anywhere else that it's well over 1 million copies in its first month out there. So um, I think a lot of people were hoping that it would cross that 3 million threshold, which would put it above Metroid Prime, I believe, is the number one seller. And it's like 2.87 million, I want to say. Um, yeah, I don't know. I mean, kind of looking at this list, Gables, what's your thoughts and everything else?
All right. So for the list entirety, I am highly surprised that Metroid Dread is inside the top three. With how successful this game has been, this is obviously going to be smashing like anything else inside the franchise in its first month or two on the market. I mean, the other game that's like higher up above that is the original Metroid Prime for the GameCube. But man, it's like it's crazy, you know. Thinking nowadays, like a new Metroid game is a top seller, like within the top five at least, inside
Mm-hmm.
of the month of release. That's something Metroid games don't generally do. They are usually some games are like barely able to scrape for like a 500,000 copies. I mean, that's just
Yeah,
one of the hurdles that Metroid games have had. But you know, combination of how popular the Switch is and also how popular it is that there hasn't been a actual full-on Metroid game since the Game Boy Advance. You know, like a new Metroid game since Game Boy Advance, since Fusion back around 2002, 2003. Yeah, that same time frame and stuff when Prime came out. So it's like
yeah.
that honestly surprised me seeing it inside the top three. Another one that was a big surprise is seeing the Demon Slayer game not only within the top five though, but outselling Guardians of the Galaxy, which is only like a few slots down. But that's also that honestly continues a trend that has been happening not only in the video game landscape but also inside the graphic novel landscape. As in the United States, Demon Slayer is the most popular in regards to selling graphic novels the entire United States in comparison to other like comics inside, like even from like the major distributors like Marvel and Capcom, not Capcom, Marvel and fucking DC.
DC.
I have fighting games in the brain for some reason, but yes, the quality of those comics from those distributors have gone down like this exponentially over the past 5 years and stuff to a point where it's like a lot of the Japanese graphic novels are so highly popular, are starting to get like an influx like they were back around the late 2000s, yeah, the late 2000s, early 2010s. But yeah, we're seeing it in video game form here. It's like Demon Slayer in its first month, you know, it's like in the top five. It's one of those like it looks like one of those like just like action beat 'em up style of games and stuff, 3D beat 'em up, blah blah blah. But that was very surprising. I mean, obviously, you know, like seeing oh gosh. Yeah, seeing Breath of the Wild still on here, you know, it's like it's kind of
Mm-hmm.
funny that that's the last spot, the
Yeah,
top
it
20.
jumped back into the top 20 because it wasn't
Yeah,
in last month.
exactly. I mean, that thing was at 25 during last month and it surged back up. I'm not entirely sure why that is, but I think maybe it had to do in large part possibly to oh
The
gosh,
OLED, maybe.
possibly. You know what?
Yeah.
That's also a good correlation because the OLED model has did sell quite well in terms of its launch month, and a couple of games did benefit from a sales boost. I mean, obviously Metroid Dread being one of them because that was the game that
Yeah.
was advertised alongside the OLED. But another Breath
Yeah.
of the Wild, that's the first game that people associate with the Nintendo Switch because when it first launched. So seeing that in the top 20 now makes sense to me. But Back for Blood, definitely a strong showing. I was fairly surprised with that. I honestly didn't think that Far Cry 6 was going to be at number one. I thought it was still going to be like either a sports game, like, say, NBA 2K22 still, or maybe even like, God, FIFA would still probably be in the top five. But yeah,
Yeah, it's number 6. Yeah.
But yeah, man, Far Cry 6, you know, that's a great showing for them. Most more or less a good recognizable game and stuff. Many people are wanting to go through. Plus, the game has been advertised to hell and back, you know, over the past 6 months to a year. So
Yeah.
yeah, seeing it sell number one overall, I mean, grand scheme of things, yeah, I'm not. That's not too surprising. But I hadn't had a chance to try it out.
Mm.
Honestly, if I ever do, I mean, it's probably going to be a while from now because I'm fairly satisfied with the games I have currently. Of course, I know I'm going to be picking up Brilliant Diamond sometime during the next week. But yeah, you know what? That's pretty much it. Metroid
Okay.
Dread selling well, Demon Slayer impressing, plus everything else.
Yeah, I think the NBA 2K22 probably could be number one,
Yeah.
but they don't do digital. Take Two doesn't do digital sales anymore. They stopped doing that last year. That's why we saw GTA 5 fall off the top 20 list. Cause
Digital.
yeah, um, so who knows? But I mean, Far Cry 6 is number 8 in the for best selling game in 2021 already,
Wow.
which is amazing. But they typically would see when they launch, they're almost immediately in the top 5 every time. So that's why even though it's doing super well, probably can then be a little disappointing. Um, I think they did. Nintendo did also say that they sold about 350,000 Switch OLEDs in the month of October, um, out of like I think a little under 800,000 Switches sold in total. Um, but I think Nintendo has also said that the majority of people that bought them are a large. Not I shouldn't say majority, but a large percentage of people that bought an OLED already owned a Switch. So
Okay.
who knows how many new users are, but like that's not super unusual. When you see stuff like this, when you hear about people that when they buy a PS4 Pro or the Xbox One X, they already owned a PS4 or an Xbox One, they just
Yeah.
upgraded. So I'm not too surprised by that. That seems kind of be the standard. Um, but like the Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy being number 7, behind the Japanese game. I mean, I'm not trying to speak badly of that game, but this is Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy that was heavily promoted. I see it constantly when I'm watching football, compared to Demon Slayer, a game I didn't know anything really about. I've seen a couple people talk about on Twitter, but I didn't know anything about it until I didn't know what the game was until Gables just told me right now.
Hmm.
To see that above it, even though I know it had a few weeks, it had a full month compared to Guardians only having 4 days.
Right.
Um, it, I'm wondering if like we're talking about Far Cry 6 paying the price of 5. I feel like maybe Guardians of the Galaxy is paying the price for Marvel's Avengers. Or I mean, being number 7, not bad, but I mean Marvel's Avengers was number 2 the month it launched.
Yes.
It was only behind Madden that
Yep.
month, and when it launched in September, and that thing fell off of the fucking face of a goddamn mountain right after that. I mean, even though it sold super well, comparatively, I think probably 90% of other games that come out would kill for those numbers. Um, down overall, but and then we also have Mario Party Superstars. People seem pretty excited about this one, pretty happy about this one, so that's good. It's been a long time since I feel like people are like coming out mostly pretty positive about a Mario Party game. Like I feel like Super Mario Party, like when I played it, and a lot of other people were like, we're getting on the right track, but we're just not quite there yet.
Mm.
And it sounds like Mario Party Superstars, and although it is just basically like a like the best of the
Yep.
64 games. But yeah, I mean, I'm happy people are happy about it. But yeah, I think that's gonna pretty much wrap it up for that. Gables, you were just talking about Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl.
Yeah.
So apparently some leaks are happening with that, or the game got out um, early in some areas. I don't know if you got a chance to like look into any of that, but I guess so. I don't know if you're like avoiding it or if you just don't really know or don't know too much about it, but I guess a lot of Pokemon fans are kind of upset about this one, where like what's the third version of Shining with Pearl and Diamond?
Okay, so the
Is
third
that
version of that is actually Platinum.
Platinum? Okay,
Hmm.
so a lot of people are upset because I guess usually when we've had these remakes in the past, they basically just take that third version
Hmm.
and then remake that one and just kind of build upon that one for these
Right.
individual games. And I guess this one isn't doing that. Um, and I guess like there's I don't know the difference between Platinum and these two, but they don't have any of those elements from there. And yeah, I guess people are just not happy about just some of the things that are going on in this game. And I don't know. I don't know if what you know about it or if you've heard anything, but I was kind of curious on your input on that one if you know what they might be about.
All right. So, in regards to the differences between Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum, I can recall back in the day, the differences between like Diamond and Pearl as opposed to Platinum and stuff is one, the Diamond and Pearl, the original releases and stuff were fairly slow in terms of like a story building perspective. There were certain things that were kind of ajar. It took some bit of time in order to try to get into the games in of itself because there were a bunch of like hitches and stuff like that that really kind of grinded a bit and stuff before you could really get into the games. There were some Pokemon selections in the early game that really didn't seem like they were that great, especially if you decided not to choose the fire starter like Chimchar. Like there was only
Okay.
maybe one or two other fire type Pokemon throughout the entirety, unless you went through and like picked Chimchar as your main Pokemon throughout that experience. Because it's like I went through the entirety of Diamond with Turtwig, right, the grass starter, and I never could find that one concrete fire Pokemon, you know, which would have made things a little bit more balanced, a little bit more easier in regards to some areas inside. But the differences between that and then you have Platinum. Platinum introduced a couple of different things. One, it was obviously you had this sort of like this different type of like zone towards the later part of the story aspect of the game itself that tied into Giratina and also tied into like the leader of Team Galactic, Cyrus and stuff. All that sort of like all this sort of like intricacies and stuff with Giratina and stuff with like the whole elements of like I think it was like space, time, and then you have like some sort of distortion world type of aspect to it. So there were other types of implementations of improvements from Pokemon selection being a lot more varied. There were more Pokemon that were added in regards to this version as opposed to the other ones. Whereas you had a little bit more of like a variety of certain teams and stuff like that you can make up for. And of course, there were kind of other features I know I have forgotten about over the years. I mean, hell, the last time I played through Pokemon Platinum, it was a few years ago when I was doing the whole run of mainstream games. The whole run of like the main
Yeah.
line Pokemon games on the way to release of Sword and Shield. Don't regret that at all. That was a fantastic experience. But in terms of the controversy stuff going on into these versions, I mean, for one, there has been initial backlash of these games in general because from one side of it, you know, there are still the type of Pokemon fans that want every single Pokemon go forth and be playable inside of these games. I understand where they're going from. I mean, I'm technically not inside that camp. I'm more or less kind of like a purist in regards to, hey, it's a remake of Diamond and Pearl and with some Platinum stuff added into it. You know, have the original 493 that was inside that game. We'll just focus upon these set of Pokemon and stuff like that. Have it be like how it was back around 2009, I want to say, or 2007,
Mm-hmm.
like 2007. Some aspects of that, but let's see. I haven't read too much other stuff that was, say, a big thing of controversy, but I did know that there were some aspects of Platinum that were being implemented inside of these new Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. Like, for example, Pokemon walking out, like walking with you in regards to going from certain places. I saw some people gripe about the freaking like character arts in regards to the models in game. I'm thinking, God, that's fucking petty as shit. You know, that doesn't really cause that much of a detriment, even though it does look kind of like, even though it's kind of look kind of like a sleekish, sort of like a cartoony type of style. But at the same time, it's a Pokemon game. You know, it's like you're gonna expect things that are kind of whimsical in a fantasy science sense. But gosh, other than that, the only other things I've heard too, like around Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, is like the different Pokemon that are going to be selectable for these two versions. So it's like, I think it was like what Brilliant Diamond had like the legendary dogs, you know, Raikou, Entei, Suicune, and stuff like that, Ho-Oh, and then there was like the version exclusives from back then, like say Craniados, and I know there was some other another exclusive and stuff. There are I don't know the exact how many creatures there are, but I do know that the legendary birds are inside Shining Pearl, which is like Zapdos, Articuno,
Hmm.
Moltres, Lugia, like that version, you know, that have that, you know. It's kind of interesting because it's like Brilliant Diamond has Ho-Oh, Shining Pearl has got Lugia, and it's like you have the legendary dogs of Johto and the Brilliant Diamond, that you have like the freaking legendary birds of Kanto inside of freaking Shining like Pearl and stuff. But it was confirmed that instead of like having that feature that these games had, where you could collect you can like catch the Pokemon inside of this like a capture safari sort of esque type of thing, where you could import your creatures in, but in order for you to actually use them, you had to play this mini game to where you had to capture them inside that game with the Pokeball, and then you could use them. This one is more or less sort of like that, only you can capture, they have the potential of capturing legendary Pokemon. You have
Hmm.
like that you wouldn't have had in regards, you probably wouldn't have seen anywhere inside the games themselves. Like you have the chance of like getting certain Pokemon, like say like Shaman for instance. Shaman is like a legendary Pokemon inside that Gen 4 Pokemon games, to where it's like there was a special event that you could get from a Nintendo in regards to that, and then you go forth and you either downloaded the thing or you went to some sort of special event and got the code for it, that you can go to a specific area, you get to encounter Shaman, you get to capture that creature, then you can go forth and use it. There's some similar stuff to that, only it ties into the save data of Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee, and also ties into the data of Pokemon Sword, Pokemon Shield, where you
Yeah, so you
get,
get Mew.
yes, you get Mew with the Let's Go games, and then you get like Jirachi with the data from Sword and Shield.
Oh,
Both of these
okay.
Pokemon, incredibly rare to find legitimate, especially Jirachi, because with Jirachi, that legendary Pokemon, the only way you could have gotten that thing legit is if you had the pre-order for Pokemon
Hmm.
Coliseum on the GameCube. Yes, that's an actual thing. And the only reason why I had a chance back in the day to complete a Pokedex back around, oh god, for Omega Ruby or something like that, is because I knew a friend that had a legit Jirachi that would actually trade it to me and trade it back. You
Huh.
know, that was one of those type of things, man. But as far as the other controversies, Tyler, man, I don't know. I haven't been paying too much attention other than the stuff
Okay.
I've been reading. But I'm still excited about playing Brilliant Diamond or Shining Pearl. It's going to be a little bit towards memory lane, but at the same time, it's going to be that type of comfort food that I'm going to go forth and enjoy once it does release.
Cool. Yeah, I got one pre-order. I'm probably gonna pick it up now. I'm kind of jonesing a little bit as we get closer to a Pokemon game, so I might just check it out. But some other news here. Metal Gear games, and we were just talking about
Yes.
GTA getting pulled. Um, the Metal Gear 1, 2, and 3 just got pulled from stores. They did give like a few days heads up, but they had to pull it due to some licensing issues with
Yeah.
some of the archived footage that they use in the game that deals with like actually has like real like FMV videos. And there's this licensing issue. So they're working. Konami is actually working on getting that back, but they did currently. I think actually it's 2 and 3. I don't think one's available anywhere else. Um, but they actually had to pull those down for the time being. So what was your thoughts here about this, Gables?
Well, honestly, the thoughts about it were, it's like, it kind of caught me by surprise, but at the same point, they gave a couple of days notice in regards to, hey, you know what? We're going to be taking these games off these storefronts like on November 8th, I think it was, of that record of
Yeah.
that news releasing, where when I heard about it, it was the day of, and I thought to myself, it's like, oh man, you mean I can't go forth and download these games or have a chance to go through? Because my main concern is, hey, you know what? I'm not going to be able to play Metal Gear Solid 4 again, and I'm thinking to myself, oh, even though it's temporary, I don't
Well,
trust
four's
Konami.
still up there. It's just 2 and 3.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But my initial, I'm just speaking like the original thought I had in my mind is like, you know what? I want to play these games like on either on like my PS3 or whatsoever. I had a feeling where I wanted to play through the entire series of Metal Gear Solid again. So it's like I went on to Amazon. I got that Metal Gear collection, that Metal Gear Solid collection for the PS3. It was brand new. It was like 20 something dollars. I'm like, you know what? This gives me an excuse to play through the games plus Metal Gear Solid 4 once again. So I'm like, you know what? Okay, I'll get that. Though, even though I did get the game and then the case was cracked beyond shit, but at the same point, the discs are in great shape. So I'm like, I lucked out.
Did you get this on Amazon
Yep.
or?
Yeah, I
All
did.
right, I go ahead, keep talking. I gotta show you something real fast.
Okay. So anyway, yeah, I got these games. I got the collection off of Amazon. It did come in the mail fairly quickly, but there was no packaging at all inside the envelope that it was shipped in. I'm highly suspecting it may have been like an Amazon warehouse thing, but Anyway, yeah, I got the Metal Gear discs. I wanted to go forth and play through Metal Gear Solid, and quintessentially, yeah, I was kind of pissed when I saw my Metal Gear disc, my Metal Gear case and stuff like that just being cracked on the edge. So I'm just gonna try to track down a replacement case at this point because the games are still in great shape. It's just,
Well, that's good.
yeah,
Yeah. So I also ordered something on Amazon
yeah,
a few days ago. I ordered my favorite smell in the world is like pumpkin spice.
yeah.
I don't like tasting it, but I love the smell.
Okay.
So I love this is my favorite like this time of year, like October when like that candle and everybody's selling the scents. Love it. So I'm like, well, fuck, before the candles go away, there's a couple people I like to buy candles from. Like they're like they just like they're small businesses. They always you can only get them on Amazon. And I want to order a couple of these before it goes away. So I ordered one. I was gonna order another one when I got paid. So I got it in the mail yesterday,
Uh
Gables.
huh.
But I opened the box up this morning. You want to see the candle I got?
Yeah. For our listeners, Tyler is holding up 4 things of Snuggle shampoo. It's like,
No, it's the snuggles that you put in the washer to like make your clothes smell good. I got 4 pack of Snuggy Super Fresh Spring Burst. Uh,
you ordered a fucking candle, they give you fucking Snuggy shit.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah. I sent my mom a video of me opening up the box, and she called me about, like laughing. So yeah, it never happened to me before, but it's been a weird week for Amazon, I guess, because you're getting shit broken. Although I did have one time when I had the new NCAA football had the one that had RG3 on the cover.
uh-huh.
The day came out, the packaging was completely crushed, and the box was and the disc was actually ruined too.
Wow.
So I've had that before, but yeah, I just thought it was kind of funny bringing that up. But yeah, I mean it's a big bummer, but it's this isn't just them being we're pulling it. It's just this is actually an issue they can't
Yeah.
not avoid. So I think it'll be up because I mean I know it's Konami and they're a weird company about shit, but it's also Metal Gear is they're that and Castlevania are like their top tier um, franchises. So I imagine
Yep.
I'll be up back soon. And when it does come back up, I guarantee it's going to sell really well.
Yep.
For for their standards, anyways. Moving on here, I'm not really too much at here. Steam Deck is delayed from December to February. They basically said anybody that ordered it, there was tiers to where you would get it from. Basically, everybody's got pushed back 2 months
Okay.
due to issues just making the console, which is happening right now. Like we just seen PlayStation announce that they had to lower what they were expecting to sell in this fiscal year by 1 million. Nintendo announced the same thing just last month, last week, when they said they had to do the same thing. I think they dropped it as either 1 million or 1.5 million. So I mean that's just where we're at right now. Obviously, the issue with the chip shortage and just manufacturing in general is just got an ongoing issue. But this one's really exciting, Gables. I want to talk about one versus 100 apparently is making a comeback for Xbox.
Hmm.
I don't know if you remember this on 360.
I
Um,
remember tidbits. Never participated, but I do
oh my
remember the
God.
contests.
I remember I never got to be in the 1 or the 100, but being in the audience and like getting in a party chat with my friends. Like this is like probably like 08, 09 ish maybe when this happened, and just like early days of like Xbox, and then them really trying to push the Xbox Live service as in a whole, like just trying to get people to subscribe to it and use it. I fucking loved it, and I never won anything. Like if you like made it far enough or answered enough questions correctly, you earn like Microsoft points, or you would get you might win like an Xbox Live Arcade game. If you got really deep in there, you win actually like a ton of points, or actually like real like physical prizes, whether it's actual full on games or money or whatever. Like people don't know is that it's actually based off a real game show
Yeah.
where like there's one person against 100 people, and they keep answering, and basically you just the one can leave it at the further they go, the more like the higher the more they win, and they could stop at any point. But if they get wrong, then whoever's left of the 100, every time one of the 1 versus 100, if anybody in the 100 gets the question wrong, they're out. They keep going until basically either the the one leaves, or gets it wrong or outlives the 100. And there's like people in the audience, and they can answer questions from the audience stuff too. And in the audience, you can participate. It was always a good time. I had fun with it. And I mean, maybe it's a nostalgia thing, but um, like definitely as we get older, it's harder and harder to get people together to play games anymore.
Yep.
But I definitely had a great time playing with friends. This is even like pre-talking shit, like playing this with people. So I don't know. I'm pumped for this. I really am. When I heard this news, I did an audible fuck yeah. That was my reaction. So I was really excited about it. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It was like, I know you said that you don't fully remember it, but I mean, you kind of interested in checking this out?
Well, honestly, it may be something I may check out, just to see what's going on with it. No, I
Yeah.
just have like maybe a passive interest.
Okay. And we've seen other games do this since then, like especially on phones where they've had like the Trivia Royale or the HQ Trivia, I think is what it's called. So people have done it since then. I imagine with Xbox probably more interested now with the cloud and PC and everything like that being available everywhere. So, but anyways, Gables, moving on to what we've been playing. Gables, do you want me to go first? Or do you want to go first?
Yeah, you can go first, man.
All right. So I've only really been playing one game this week, Gables. I've been playing the shit out of Forza Horizon 5. I even was
Nice.
so excited. I talked about it at the time when they announced this. I think it was at E3. I wasn't super pumped for the game at that point. I was just really excited because of the controller. So let me
Oh yeah, the
here we go.
controller is definitely
Oh
awesome.
my god, look how sexy that is. So I'm showing it for audio listeners. I'm showing them the controller. It's like you can see through it, but it's a yellow. It's like a pink and blue, bright blue, of like splash in front of it. But what really cool is here is like Gables. You can see the back of it
Mm,
here.
yes.
The handles. So the handles for audio listeners, it's actually like a steering wheel. It's
Yeah.
rubber and it's got like it's got like little ridges in it and stuff like that. Ridge for her pleasure and mine. Um, but yeah, I've loved using that. Finally got that. It came in on Wednesday or Thursday, I think. The game came out Tuesday. Man, Gables, if this game would have came out just a few days earlier for Extra Life, holy shit, this might have just been my 24 hours because I just can't stop playing this fucking game, Gables. I don't know why. I know why. I'll get into that, but I don't know why it's poking me more so. I think than previous racing games, where like like I grew up loving like Mario Kart. I enjoyed the shit out of Cruising USA, even though
Right.
I bet I enjoyed Cruising USA back in the day because I just that's the only like I had like 5 games. But like even growing up like as an adult, like I really the only racing games I've ever like stuck with is like Need for Speed Underground, Mario Kart, and then like I got into Forza Horizon 2 because I picked it up when that was like when I bought a 360. Um, that was like my third 360 when I bought 2 of them. They both crashed, and I just didn't when they first came out. I'm like, well, fuck this thing, and then I went back and bought another one. It came with Forza, and I played the shit of that with like my friends, and that was the most I ever got into it. And I really just got more into the creative side of it than anything else. But this one, Gables, I even played a little bit of 4. I played for a couple hours at like one time, and then like early on in Game Pass day, and I'm like, oh, that's fine. And I
Mm,
just moved on. But this one, I put like over 9 hours into it already.
nice.
Like so, I said, I was off Tuesday, and I basically just spent like 5 hours on Tuesday playing fucking Forza Horizon 5. Like I just played it for like I started was like, oh, I'm gonna boot up, just check it out for a little bit. I wasn't like super like I even talked about it a few weeks ago when we were talking about like the games we were looking forward to the rest of the year. We're like, I'd probably just plan on putting a few hours in this, checking it out, dip my toes in the water, and like moving on. And that's not the case. And it's just like I just want to keep. Like I played it, like I said, Tuesday. I picked it up, started playing it for. I was like, oh, I'm gonna check it out for a little bit, and then like fucking 4 hours go by. I'm like, holy shit! And I even like after work, if I have like a little bit of time before bed to like, usually I'll just like watch Impractical Jokers or just pop on YouTube or whatever until it's time to go to bed. No, I was playing Forza. That's been like my go-to. And like today, instead of watching the Hawkeye game, I was just kind of watching on my phone a little bit. But instead of watching it on my TV, I was playing fucking Forza, Gables. I just can't quit playing this game. I just really like this game. It's so much fun. It's just like, and there's so many like, I think so many cool, smart things they do where they just kind of like do little things like for the chemicals in your brain that keep you want to keep going. Where they just like they give you like cars and you get wheel spins where you like every time you get up to a new level, you
Yeah.
get to do it. You get to spin the wheel and you unlock emotes or new cars or credits to buy more shit. to upgrade your cars or buy more cars. Um, and then like they're just constantly throwing shit at you, where you're always getting XP to upgrade your levels, or you're always there's like so many different like things like so you have credits that are like the in-game currency. You have experience points, which obviously increase your level. You have skill skill points that you earn that are basically every time you fill up the bar,
Yep.
you can use those to like every car has its own individual skill tree, and you earn points by doing that just by like driving around the world, doing drifting, crashing into shit, and then you can like multiply it. And then there's like cool things where you're just driving through the world, and then like a song will come on the radio, and there'll be like a skill song where all your points double for the duration of that song. So you just go like drive like a fucking madman for like 4 minutes or whatever, how long the song is, to like earn these points to unlock it, so that you can like add more to increase the car mastery of that by buying more shit for your skill tree. And then the fourth one is I can't remember what it's called, but like it's the thing that progresses the game and unlocks more challenges, unlocks like more chapters, basically progresses the campaign. There's actually some like characters and shit like that, but there's not really much of a story. But it's just, man, I'm just having a fun. Like this game is just like fun, and it's a blast, and it's just there's like no like I said, there's no storyline. There's nothing about it that's like progressing that part of it, but it's just like just driving through the world and like just driving like, oh fuck, here's an event, oh here's a board I can break, or here's a so like that.
Yes.
It's like it's like it's Burnout Paradise, another racing game I really got
Absolutely.
into back in the early 360 era. I have to totally space that one. It's like it's bringing me back to that space where I was just having a blast, just driving around the world, doing crazy shit, and then like just doing events and having a fucking blast. And this is what this game is. It's just fucking, it's just a blast. That's what it is. It's a blast, Gables. It's just fun shit. To bring back a term that we're using a lot at the beginning. It's just, man, the game is incredible. There's so many different cars you can unlock. I have a fucking I bought a Nissan Skyline, and you can actually like people can upload their creations that they made of like art design for the cars. And I bought a Nissan Skyline because that's my boy Paul Walker. Rest in peace, Paul Walker. Love you, big buddy. From Fast and Furious. I bought that because that was always his go-to car in the Fast and Furious franchise. And someone had there was every single Fast and Furious Nissan Skyline art design from every single Fast and Furious that he was in. I
That's
picked two
awesome.
Fast and Furious because that was the coolest looking one to me when even though it's not my favorite Fast and Furious, I thought it was the coolest looking design. So I've driven that around. I found a Maserati that had someone made a really awesome fucking Pokemon design for, which is incredible. Like as Pikachu and Bulbasaur and Charmander and Eevee, and like, oh my god, it's incredible. The shit people can do in this thing is stunning. I don't know how people do it. Um, yeah, man, man, my god, I don't know. I just can't believe how much fun I'm having with this game. Like I said, I planned on jumping into it. Maybe I'll just dabble into it for a couple hours, and it's just like, man, that first fucking day, like I said, I played 4 or 5 hours of it, just couldn't stop. Um, and I did not expect that. Like Game Pass, it just continues to be the gift that keeps on giving this year. Because man, without it, this would probably be a pretty grim year for me, for gaming wise. But yeah, man, my God, yeah, it's just so much fun. Like it's just like you're just doing goofy shit. Like you're just jumping off shit. You're racing fucking jet skis, people on jet skis. Um, and that's oddly enough like the least fun part of this game at times is like some of the races. Honestly, like there's some cool like speed traps you can do where like you have to like just try to drive as fast as you can through the speed through this camera, or like jump off and like you can like there's ramps you can fly off and like you want to get so many feet, so you want to get as much speed, but you got like also you want to make sure you land on all four tires and not flip because it doesn't count. Yeah, like the racing sometimes is like the least fun part of it at points, um, where like it doesn't. It's like I'm playing on average, which is like the medium difficulty. There's like 5 different levels, I think. You can change it. And the higher the difficulty level you have it, the more credits you can earn for doing this. But it's like I don't really want to have a challenge with the game. I just want to have a good time. But it's like, um, like the straight up racing parts sometimes are at least fun. There's some cool like you're just fucking doing a drag race, which are awesome. Like those are my favorites when you just blowing fucking past everybody.
Oh yeah.
Uh, but my God, but it also does in racing though when you're like race people and you drift past them, you do the slingshot. Oh man, always feels good in gaming. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I am having a fucking blast with this goddamn game. I don't plan on stopping anytime soon. Um, I feel like there's not a lot coming out for me the rest of this year. Like I am, like I said, I mentioned Pokemon's game I'm probably gonna pick up. That's not till Friday though. But I can see myself just still dabbling in this game for on and off at least for the next little while. I don't know if I'm like I look at my friends list. I have multiple friends that have already put over 20 hours into this. Um, I don't know if I'm gonna be like I'm not as hardcore as them, but like I'll probably get to that. But it's not I'm not gonna be like I can see in a few weeks from now maybe I'm not playing this. But for right now, this game is fucking incredible. It is climbing up the game of the year list for me, Gables. But yeah,
Nice.
that's all I've been playing. I did want to play House of Ashes. My plan was to beat that. It's only like 3 or 4 hours. That's the Until Dawn people's new game. It's still sitting over there in plastic, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna play that. And I just no, Forza. Forza is life right now. Wait, tell me what you've been playing, Gables.
All right, so to piggyback off last week's games I've been playing, I finished up Guardians of the Galaxy. I did beat that game, and geez, man, that game is pretty fucking fantastic for what
Mm-hmm.
initially what I thought it was going to be. I came in having low expectations. I knew the game that got some good reviews and stuff, and I knew that game was like our game of the show thing for like E3, especially for like Square Enix's like presser and stuff. A lot of people were down on it and stuff, mostly because of the hatred for Marvel's Avengers and like the mismanagement Square Enix did for that game. But surprisingly, Guardians of the Galaxy is one of my favorite games of the year, especially after finishing it up, going through and concluding a lot of the story element stuff, a lot of decisions I made in regards to that paying off towards the end. And oh my gosh, dude, it's like just when you think the game is over, all of a sudden it's like there's more stuff that you got to get through and you got to
Yeah,
go through
that
and
was
do.
when I said, "Oh shit, really?" Like when we were talking, I'm like, "Wait, never.
Yes.
I'll talk to you about it later." That was my. That
Yep.
was why.
And man, I gotta admit, man, it kind of caught me off guard. I got to left field and stuff. It's like, whoa, whoa, I still have to go more. I still have to do more in this game. I'm like, what? And it was definitely a fantastic experience. It's like you go through the whole stuff. You get to face off against the final boss, and you have to go through all that rigmarole stuff. And man, I had those moments exactly like what you stated and stuff when you have like oh god, you had a couple of songs that like pop up when they do the little team like huddle and stuff like that. You had
Yeah.
like Bonnie Tyler's "I Need a Hero" like just proc
Mm,
at just the right time and
yeah.
for that stuff, and
Hit
it
me with
made
your
that
best
final.
shot. Pop on.
Yep, that one as well. That was a pretty memorable one. Pretty much they get with in terms of like a high escalating type of battle, regardless like a specific situation and stuff, the music will play accordingly. Like if it's like a major boss battle or something like that, they know exactly what piece of music to insert in that situation in regards to having it pump up to like another level. And that final boss battle, all of a sudden I had Bonnie Tyler just like screaming like that song and stuff like that. I Need a Hero. That made it much more epic when you're going through and having that game when you're just just kicking the shit out of the final boss and doing this and just doing a lot of various team attacks and doing that. Yeah, that made that experience pretty much worthwhile. I mean, I went into the game, okay, story element was strong. I was highly satisfied with going through and like following Star Lord and stuff and the whole Guardians of the Galaxy and stuff and their overall evolution throughout that entire game and stuff to where pretty much where the game starts is like they're a ragtag group of people that just form together and stuff, and then all of a sudden you learn a bunch about them and specifics, and like for each character, like you have Gamora, like the daughter of Thanos and stuff like that, like the adopted daughter of Thanos, and you have like Star Lord, pretty much like is this kid or something that inherited stuff from his dad and stuff like that. His mom got killed, blah blah blah, and it's like it just evolved itself, to where they were at the beginning of the game, totally different than what they were when they ended the game, where their characters
Mm-hmm.
seem to have evolved to a certain extent to where you actually sympathize a lot with a lot of their characters' struggles. I did not expect that inside this game. I thought it was going to be like a straight up like gameplay, like strong gameplay thing only, with maybe minimal like story like progression stuff that would not have mattered. Like they were probably going to be like the same characters going from the beginning to the end. That obviously was a huge surprise for me. The other was actually how fun the combat was going through and do the team stuff. They Square Enix pretty much used what worked inside of Marvel's Avengers. Even though I never played that game, I could see where a
Mm.
lot of that stuff is implemented inside Guardians of the Galaxy.
It's more like Final Fantasy Remake light
Right.
than it is Avengers.
And that's a good point. Yes, it is sort of like that in regards to the whole gameplay structure and stuff, but it works. It works there. You have a lot of your teammates there with you. Their combo attacks make sense. You do auto attacks with some of your party members. You can go through and have like group revive the entirety or heal the entirety of the party. He's the group healer and support pretty much. And then you have like a more, which is pretty much like a DPS and stuff like that. You have Drax is sort of like a tank, and you have Rocket with like a whole bunch of like range attacks and stuff like that with his guns and all this other shit. But the best overall feeling I had playing that game is like exploring a lot of the world, a lot of terrains around the environments, finding these little hidden items or hidden like type of like no, just hidden like type of resources that you need to go through and collect, like from costumes, from like things to improving your weapons or earning ability points and stuff. I have already gotten all the abilities. I've already gotten all the freaking like perks and stuff for the characters and stuff like that. I haven't got all the entirety of the costumes. I know at this point in time, I feel like I'm good playing Guardians of the Galaxy. I will go back to it. I have like maybe 86% unlocked for the trophy count for that thing. Maybe the next year or something like that, I may want to aim for the platinum. I have it set now for the second playthrough, like on the easy difficulty, because I've already
There you go.
experienced the game what it's supposed to be experienced on the normal mode for it. Loved it. Definitely going to have a fun time with it next year because there are a couple other games I did start this week. One was a game that I bought last week, which was Tales of Arise.
Oh, nice.
So, Tales of Arise, JRPG within like the Tales of series. Honestly, the game looks pretty fucking good as well. That's a commonality between say like Guardians of the Galaxy and Tales of Arise. Both are kind of like RPG esque, more or less more action, like action RPG esque. Both of them look pretty fucking fantastic in my honest opinion. For Tales of Arise, you can see the cell shaded art style in full effect. There are a lot of good like implemented details inside of the environments and stuff. I've only played like maybe an hour, maybe a little over an hour at most, but I haven't really experienced a lot of what this story has to go forth and offer from the beginning. Quintessentially, from where it starts off, you're a person that has amnesia, that has to figure out who he is, and on top of that, it's like you're given the name Iron Mask because when you were found and stuff, you basically have this gigantic iron mask on your face, but somehow you're able to see, breathe, and do this other stuff, and even eat, which is kind of weird because it looks like you just have a big old metal slab on your face.
Don't bring logic to this conversation.
I know, right? Instead of a fantasy setting, bringing in logic is sort of like the Achilles heel of it. Anyway, from there you are thrusted into a situation to where you have this kingdom, right, that's divided into 5 sections. Basically, you have a race of people that pretty much went through and invaded everything and then just quintessentially took over and stuff and like kind of enslaved another like race of people and stuff and just did a whole bunch of like terrible shit. And pretty much the main core aspect of what's going on here is you have these 5 warlords, right? That are the leaders of each individual sections. Every 10 years and stuff, they gather enough of this specific type of resource. And the one that has the most resource is the one that's the king and have to do all this stuff. So how they go through and mine the resources is they have the people who are enslaved mine that stuff for them manually because of the fact that they can do that by doing it manually instead of doing it with machines and stuff that they already own and this and that. But the main conflict inside of this game, it's man versus world quintessentially, because it's like you are tasked against like all the odds are against you, everything's against you and stuff like that, and you have to somehow find a way to not only excel and defeat this like this gigantic like evil empire and stuff and like all these different warlords and stuff, but somehow like help out like a mysterious girl or something like that that has this mysterious power. It's typical JRPG tropes. I can admit that. I mean, it's not entirely original, but the game looks great so far. The combat in of itself is simple to understand. It's quintessentially the standard action RPG in the Tales of series, to where you can go forth and like target a character, target an enemy. You can go through and attack a whole bunch of times. You can do like specific type of attacks. There is cooking. There is types of like collecting certain things and stuff. It's fairly early on, but I feel like it's very easy to grasp and understand if you have a basic understanding of RPGs in general. But the game that kind of caught me by surprise is Ender Lilies. So, Ender Lilies, for those that don't know, this is a indie game that released this past year. About a month ago, I was researching some of the best Metroidvania games, right? Basically, the games that gamers would associate with the franchises of Metroid and Castlevania, So
Metroid
it's,
Dread probably be on that list.
well, Metroid Dread definitely is, I would feel like, on that list because well, only because and stuff like that, it does have a strong, it does have like a strong like a gameplay sense, strong level design stuff. I don't know where it would place because I haven't finished that game yet. But in regards to this story, in regards to this game, it came up because I kept seeing this game being up the best of lists of this year. And
Hmm.
the concept of it is like you are a girl that is like a white priestess, right? That has to go forth and you have this specific responsibility that you have to uphold. And quintessentially, you meet other types of like evil spirits or something like that you can cleanse, you can purify. And these like evil like entities and stuff like that used to be people, but died because of a specific not a cataclysmic event, which was like it was a day that there was this bunch. It was like a traumatic event or something like that, where it's like this specific type of rain or something like that fell and just wiped out like the entirety of this, in pretty much the entirety of this like this world in and of
Oh,
itself.
Death Stranding.
Sort of like that. Yeah, sort of like that, but not really in regards of it being boring.
It's actually a good game to play. Gotcha.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And here's why. It's because on its surface, it lures you into a false sense of security. Like you think it's going to be an easy type of experience because, for one, it's a standard sort of like an action RPG style of Metroidvania game to where you travel from point to point, go to a specific portion of a map. You need certain abilities to progress to certain areas. But the thing about it is, it retains elements of another game series that I chip away at from time to time. It's the Dark Souls series, right? But you do gain levels in this game, but depending upon what type of spirits you equipped on, and depending upon what type of like weapons you go through and use, your resources and stuff, these enemies can actually fairly be difficult, but not like so difficult to the extent to where you're throwing your controllers against the freaking walls or anything else like that. But you're able to go forth and beat them if you pretty much use a lot of common sense in regards to being patient and doing this and doing that. But what caught me off guard are the boss battles. The boss battles are pretty involved in regards to how they don't hold your hand in a sense. So to give a good example of like how the difficulty kind of spiked a little bit, the first portion of the game you face off against the first boss, you can't just like go through and just hack and slash this thing repeatedly and stuff in order to take it out. It has specific type of patterns and stuff that will go through and counteract, and that you have to actively try to avoid and dodge at specific times. You have to use your dodge function fairly frequently in order to avoid specific types of attacks. So it's like timing, dodging are fairly key in regards to this game as opposed to some of the other games of its type. What kind of draws me into this game, one, the melancholy music, the atmosphere of this game feels unlike any other type of game I've played this year, to where it's like it gives you a great sense of immersion inside of this sort of like desolate sort of this desolate sort of like a game in and of itself. Because here you are, you control a little girl, right? It was like a white priestess who has to get the help of different types of spirits that she's purified and stuff and use their attacks. That's the main gimmick of this game. When you collect certain, like, purify certain souls, you gain certain abilities. So, for example, you start off with this one character that just uses a sword, and so you can use that an infinite number of times. But during the first boss battle that you go through and you face, you actually get the ability to do the double jump, right? And so
Hmm.
not only do you do like a double jump instinctively, she also has another attack you can use that has like a ball and chain. And so once you use the command to do the ball and chain,
Typical.
she'll go through and just like swing this ball and chain around and stuff and do like chip damage and stuff. But the further you get in and the further you go through and explore, which is another point of emphasis I like to say that I like about it, is that it makes you want to explore every bit of an area to see if you've actually gotten every single bit inside of a specific area because it rewards you for doing so. It's like when you go through and get these like different types of spirits and stuff, you may realize that, oh, okay, it you can only use it for this specific amount. Like, for example, I have this sort of spirit, that acts like a crow, right? And so what it does is long range damage. So I press the triangle button that I have it set on and stuff, and quintessentially, if an enemy is like a couple feet in front of me or something like that, or a little bit farther out, it'll automatically shoot like blasts like in the direction that I'm facing. So it'll start to whittle down a little bit. So it'll maybe do like about three of them to take out one enemy, or do five of them and stuff. And so the counter goes down, this and that. But the best part about it is like using the boss enemies' spirits, like on your side and stuff. It could be a fantastic experience in and of itself, especially with the second boss. Now, what went really kind